The laugh that killed everything. When I proposed to Lauren, I thought I was the luckiest man alive. She was smart, beautiful, and had this way of making me feel like the center of the universe. We'd been together for 4 years, met in college, and weathered the storms of long nights, early jobs, and tight finances. After I landed a stable engineering position, I popped the question. She said yes. Everything felt perfect until her parents got involved. I come from a modest background. My mother was a single parent who worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. I grew up in a small house where warmth wasn't from expensive heaters. It was from the woman who tucked me in every night, even when she had to leave for a night shift right after. Lauren's family? A different universe. Her parents were wealthy, traditional, and snobbish in a way that wasn't always obvious, but always felt. Her dad would say things like, "Engineers are just glorified plumbers with calculators." Her mom once told me, while looking around my apartment, "Oh, this is cute. Like something from a sitcom for struggling millennials." They smiled when they said these things. Like it was harmless. Like I should be grateful for the attention. I laughed along. I shouldn't have. The cracks started showing early in the engagement. Lauren began talking more like them. Dismissive, passive-aggressive, entitled. Her parents were paying for the wedding, and that meant it became their event. Venue? They changed it. Menu? Replaced. Guest list? Trimmed and rearranged. Decor? Upgraded from sweet and simple to luxury ballroom experience. Every detail was dictated. Every moment was choreographed to their liking. And when I tried to give input, Lauren would say, "It's just one day. Let them have it." But it wasn't just one day. It was supposed to be our day. I told her, months before the wedding, that there would be one empty seat I cared about more than all the full ones. My mom had passed away when I was 19, breast cancer, and it tore my world apart. She raised me alone, gave me everything, scrubbed floors, waited tables, and still managed to make my childhood feel rich not in money, but in love. When I proposed to Lauren, I said, "There will be an empty chair at the front row. I need that to stay." She cried. She promised to make sure her memory was respected. But promises are cheap when you're surrounded by people who treat empathy like an inconvenience. The night before the wedding, Lauren's parents hosted the rehearsal dinner. It was at some ultra-fancy restaurant, the kind of place that charges $40 for sparkling water. Everyone was there. My friends, her friends, groomsmen, bridesmaids, extended family. I tried to smile, tried to enjoy it. Even told myself this would all be worth it. Until her father stood up to give a toast. He raised his wine glass and smiled at the room. "We're so thrilled to welcome James into our family. Even though he didn't come from much, he's clearly trying his best." A few chuckles. "And although his mother won't be joining us, at least she won't complain about the wine selection, right?" Laughter. Real laughter. I froze. I felt the blood drain from my face. Did he just? Then her mother added, "Well, I'm sure she would have been proud, assuming she had any taste." More laughter. And then I saw it. Lauren. She was laughing too. Not nervously. Not shocked. She laughed like they had just cracked the best wedding joke of the year. And something inside me shattered. The wedding that died before it began. The room was laughing. They were laughing at my dead mother. I looked around, faces red from wine and amusement. Even some of my friends forced awkward smiles, not knowing whether to laugh or stay silent. But Lauren? She was full-on laughing. Not a giggle, not a shrug-it-off smirk. It was a laugh like she was finally part of their club. That was it. I stood up. The laughter died immediately. Every head turned toward me. I looked at Lauren. My voice didn't shake. My hands didn't tremble. I just said it. "This wedding is off." She blinked. "Wait, what?" Her dad chuckled nervously. "James, come on now. It was just a little." I cut him off. "A joke?" "That was a joke." I turned to the room. "Let me explain something to all of you. The woman you just laughed at worked 2 jobs to raise me. She skipped meals so I could eat. She came home every night with blisters on her feet and still helped me with homework." Lauren looked stunned, pale. She died without ever taking a vacation, without ever seeing the life she gave me. "And this is how you treat her memory." Her mother gasped. "We didn't mean it like that." "No, you meant it exactly like that." Lauren stood up, panicking. "James, wait. Please, don't do this. They were just being, you know how they are." "No, Lauren. I know how you are. Because you laughed too." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I didn't mean." I shook my head. "If you can laugh at the woman who gave me everything, then you never loved me." Gasps around the room. Someone dropped their fork. Someone whispered, "Holy SHD." I looked at the table where our wedding invitations sat in fancy envelopes with gold trim. "Return to sender," I muttered. I walked out, past the stunned bridesmaids, past her dad, still holding his wine like he wanted to throw it, past the pianist who had no idea whether to keep playing or run. And I didn't stop walking until I reached the street. The night was cold, but I finally felt warm again. The fallout started immediately. Texts, missed calls, voicemails from her mother, her friends. Even people I barely knew from her side were messaging me things like, "You embarrassed her in front of everyone. You should have just waited until after the wedding." One message stood out, though. From my best friend. "You did the right thing. FCKM. Yeah, that one helped. But it still hurt. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. I stared at the ceiling, wondering if I'd overreacted. If maybe I should have just taken her aside and talked calmly. But then I'd remember the sound of her laughter. That sharp, cruel bark when she thought no one would call her out. I didn't lose a fiancé that night. I escaped a life built on disrespect and silence. The day I walked away was the day I got my life back. The next morning, the group chat was on fire. Apparently, Lauren's mom had taken to Facebook with a long dramatic post about how I humiliated their daughter and abandoned the family on the eve of a sacred union. A few of their family friends shared it. Others didn't. One uncle commented, "Maybe don't joke about dead moms next time." That comment got deleted within 5 minutes. Lauren called me 27 times over the next 3 days. Left long voicemails. Some were calm, others were pure screaming. The kind of emotional whiplash that made me realize just how deep her mask went. I didn't respond. A week later, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. From her. The first half was apologies. The second half, a request to talk in person and salvage what we had. I didn't reply. Instead, I booked a solo weekend trip out of town. Just me, my thoughts, and a journal I hadn't touched in years. I walked through forests, sat by a lake, and cried. Not out of sadness, but out of release. I could finally breathe. A month later, a mutual friend messaged me. "Dude, Lauren's parents are telling people you canceled the wedding because you were cheating." Of course they were. It didn't work though. Too many people were at that dinner. Too many people heard what was said. And a few, brave enough, told the truth. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need to post a statement. I didn't need to expose them. The truth had already done that for me. About 6 months later, I got lunch with someone from work, a quiet, thoughtful girl named Elise. We'd talked in passing before, but nothing serious. That day, she looked me in the eye and said, "I know what happened. I was at the dinner. I was Lauren's cousin's +1. My heart dropped. Then she added, "You did the bravest thing I've ever seen." We ended up talking for 3 hours. About life. About grief. About parents. About respect. She never once asked me why I left Lauren. She already knew. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe I'll fall in love again. Maybe I won't. I'm okay either way. Because now I'm free. I live in a smaller apartment. No fancy events. No 5-tier cake tasting. But there's a photo on my wall. The same one I had in my room when I was a kid. It's my mom, holding me at graduation. Her eyes tired, but glowing with pride. And sometimes, when I come home from work and sit in the quiet, I look at that photo and whisper, "I didn't let them laugh at you. I walked away." Because sometimes, walking away isn't weakness. It's the strongest damn thing you can do.